I'm a vampire.
Yeah! We're already here! Holy crap, that went by pretty damn fast. Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the Rosario+Vampire vlogs, and yeah, we're covering the final 4 episodes in one go, and there's a reason for that. The first one we're talking about is pretty quick, doesn't add too much to the plot, but is entertaining. But we're talking about this 3-part finale. I was not expecting a 3-parter. I was expecting a 2-parter like last time. But no, they wrapped this up pretty damn quickly. That, of course, being episodes 10 to 13. Like, we're already here. We're already at the end. And not just the end of the season, but the final set of episodes of the show. This came by pretty damn quick. So there's a lot to pack, there's a lot to talk about. This is going to be an extensively long vlog, so let's just get to it. The first episode, episode 10, basically another padded episode with just a basic character, but not quite. We have a new kid showing up to Yokai Academy, sort of this handsome, sort of devilish, sort of, you know, your bad boy, your Koga kind of character, who is getting all the girls' attention, including all of Tsukune's lady friends. Not just Yukari, not just Mizare, not just Kurumu, not just Mocha, like everybody is possessed by this guy. And obviously Tsukune's the only one who can't avoid the magic of it. But all the girls are entrapped by this guy. And what I love about this episode, I'll just say this, it is a filler, but it's a good entertaining one because it's hilarious, you know? Like, there's a lot of great jokes in this one. There's one where Kurumu and Mocha are trying to grab a set of volleyballs and they all fall down, and the guy shows up next to Kurumu, and Kurumu's like,
"Oh, hey, new guy. Sorry, but I've got some balls to go grab."
God damn it, that's fucking funny. They had a blast with the humor of this episode. This is actually probably the funniest episode of the entire second season. So this guy is kind of just doing his thing, and he kind of has some vampire teeth. You kind of assume this is another vampire, but not quite, in a way. So all of this is going on. Meanwhile, Kokowa's bat friend is missing for some reason, and we don't know what's going on with him. So a lot of stuff is happening. This guy is possessing all the girls, and then holds a concert in the auditorium. And it's so quick to put in the stage lights, everything. I'm like, how long did that take to put together? How much money did that cost? But what I really love is, like, he obviously sings. So let's dance together, we can make a new start. Ain't no living La Vida Loca, that's for sure. Upside, inside out, living La Vida Loca. But it's all this stuff happening and so on, and, you know, there's a great concert happening. Tsukune's trying to stop them and try to get the girls out because they're all possessed by this guy. And it isn't until the likes of Kokowa who saves the day, gets everybody out of the trance, and actually gets the rosary off, which leads to this guy essentially having an oh shit moment and having one of the best reactions. I was laughing my ass off, and where he's like,
"I saw that one coming a mile away."
Oh, holy shit, wee!
You know, one of those. And, you know, Mocha transforms, and both her and Kokowa kick his ass, and it turns out this guy was the Bat Dude in human form, who took it on. I don't know why, he just was bored and needed to be part of the plot somehow. And this episode was actually pretty funny. I actually had really good entertainment with this one. It was, you know, got a lot of great humor. It has an interesting character that I was kind of concerned about because I kind of have something planned that I won't reveal on this one because that'll be for another time. But to the point, this episode was pretty fun. I thought it was very entertaining and I thought it was hilarious. So this one is definitely, I'd say, definitely above the last 2 episodes. This is definitely a 6 or 7. Like, this was pretty damn fun. But I wanted to get that out of the way because we need to talk about the 3-part season finale, which was unexpected. I did not expect this to be a 3-parter. The first episode, again, pretty generic until the 11th hour. Because in this one, you have, actually surprisingly enough, Kokowa, or Kyoko, right? shows up to Tsune's school. And you think, how did she get in? You know, no human can get past the human world. Well, that's where things start to come into play. So she gets into Yokai Academy, is trying to find Tsune the whole time, and realizes this whole place is full of monsters. She's in total disbelief. She kind of has a Robin Williams hook moment where she's like,
oh no, it's finally happened. I'm having a total nervous breakdown.
It's actually really funny. But speaking of fairies and sort of this Neverland scenario, there's a fairy that's in this episode who has this magic mirror that does all this weird shit and converts all the monsters to their true nature, and they have them all fight, they have them all do all this stuff. You have even that seductive math teacher from the first season who's pretty heavy involved in this episode, doing stuff, and fights break out, and, you know, obviously you have all the girls pining over Tsune, and it's really sexually tense, and Tsune's like, can you guys get off me? I'm trying to do stuff, and all this crazy shit is happening in this episode. And it's nuts. So, on top of that, Mocha tries to save, Kyoko, and Kyoko's like, you're a monster, you're a freak, you're all awful, you're terrible, it hurts her feelings, and you're just like, aww, don't upset Mocha like that. But, obviously what ends up happening is that they get the mirror thing, and they take the rosary off, and it's funny, because apparently they have it where the outer Mocha uses the mirror to bring back inner Mocha so they don't have to take the rosary off. So this is a huge shocker. This is the first time we see inner Mocha without taking off the rosary. So you're like, oh shit, what does this mean? What's going on? Like, this break the fabric of the rules of the formula. But then it turns out the mirror fairy actually ends up splitting the two Mochas into two separate beings. Now, normally, one cannot be in one without the other. It's kind of a complicated scenario. And I should mention also at the beginning of this episode, Mocha and Tsune have some moments, and Ruby comes in like, this Japanese military outfit, and you're like, when did this turn to Full Metal Jacket? But, anyway, back to the story. There's two Mochas coexisting at the same time. This is a first for the show. This has never happened before. This is a massive shock, like, to the audience. And I was just like, oh, shit. Oh, this can happen. Okay, this is actually pretty cool. But obviously, because of that, they're both at half strength. So again, one cannot live without the other. It's sort of this sort of yin-yang sort of thing happening. They defeat the Pixie Mirror. Actually, it's with the help of the other characters, the other girls, who actually kick her ass, which is pretty damn impressive. But because of the Rosary doing that magic shit, because where there's two now coexisting, the barrier between the human world and the monster world start to break apart. And it's very Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, where, like, the barrier's breaking when Voldemort did that whole, and he just blasted it. Now, there's a rosary apparently protecting the school. And it's kind of complicated. This is where we get to Part 1, or Part 2 and 3 of this finale. And I will admit, Part 2 and 3, they have moments, but it's utterly confusing what the hell's going on. And I'll explain more in a sec. So, obviously the barrier's breaking, and it's made from the same rosary that's on Mocha's chest. So, Mocha's like, I gotta fix this. So she puts the rosary and replaces it for the barrier, and outer Mocha disappears. Like, she's gone. She's gone. We think she's dead, and she dies literally before the opening intro. And you're like, whoa, there is so much happening right now. But then, it cuts to, like, a month or a week later, and everybody's all nilly-willy, everything's fine. You're like, no, this is a problem. Mocha's dead. But not entirely dead. Her outer self is gone. Dead. Like, Tsune, are you okay? And everybody wonders that. All the girls all wonder, is Tsune okay? Because the inner Mocha takes over. And I will say this, that Colin Claytonbeard, again, I am going by the English dub, is having a blast playing this character fully and giving her a chance to really kind of be in this world that she's not really a part of, because she only appears a few times. But to have her fully intact, she looks so much like a fish out of water. She does not give a fuck. She is as broken as Tsune is. And that leads to her trying to get with Tsune, because it turns out the inner Mocha does love him equally. And she wants to be with Skune, but she's just so out of place in this world. She doesn't know where to go. So both sides of this, you feel really sorry for her, and I was surprised by that, because you think the inner Mocha, the toughest one, the S-class vampire, would be pretty much, I don't give a fuck, you can't hurt me, but you could feel her emotions in this one. Again, Colin did such a good job on this performance. I was really impressed with that. So, obviously Skune wants the outer Mocha back. It's not that he doesn't want to choose the inner, it's that, again, one cannot live without the other. So, he's going to try to get the other one back. So he goes to Ruby for advice, and Ruby explains that that's what they were protecting the school, was with this rosary. And the only way to obtain that rosary again, rather than the one being using it to hold the seal of the barrier, is to go to what they call the Dark Lord. And you're like, Sauron? Is he going to show up? Or Voldemort? Like, I mean, I get the Deathly Hallow comparisons, but this is ridiculous.
So then, I suppose the one who woke me up was you.
Basically, we don't really know who this Dark Lord is. All she says is, he's in a castle, go get that rosary. So, it's kind of like a mix of, like, Zelda meets Castlevania, which I really like about this. It's got that Castlevania vibe, and I'm a big fan of the Netflix Castlevania series. I've also played the games, and the Netflix Castlevania series, that's a great show. Maybe I'll do that next year to replace this one. I don't know. I want to watch it more, but yeah, that'll probably be a thing next year. So, basically, Skune has to go to this castle, but in order to go through it, he has to go to the same portal that leads to the human world in Yokai. A lot of the logic in these last two episodes don't make any sense, and I think they were really pressed for time, and it felt kind of rushed, but I'll get to more of that in a sec. So, Part 3, the season finale. Where does this all lead? Well, beforehand, I should bring up that now that the Outer Mocha's gone, the parents show up. Kurumu and Mizore and Yukari's parents, and they're obviously trying to get Skune to marry either one because the Outer Mocha's gone. It leads to fighting, it leads to chaos, but as Skune goes to take off to find this castle, obviously Kokowa is following suit and trying to say, no, I'm going to stop you, because I want my inner Mocha to stay forever and ever. But while that's going on, when Skune gets to the castle boundaries, Mizore's mother is there to stop him and say, you're going to marry my daughter. But then Mizore shows up and actually fights her mom. This is another thing. There's conflicts with parents. Like the whole father-son dynamic you would see in a Star Wars movie. This one is like mother and daughter fighting. And, you know, it's not just Mizore and her mother, but Kurumu and her, and they're all in conflict. Even Kurumu's mom wants to marry Skune. I'm like, this is insane. This is chaos. Like, Skune, go get Outer Mocha back. It's the only way to fix shit. So, we don't know who this Dark Lord is in this big mansion, this big kind of Castlevania thing. I'm thinking, is this Dracula? This better be Dracula. When is Dracula gonna show up in this? The king of the vampires, the lord of vampires. Like, when you think the Dark Lord, you think, that's fucking Dracula. It has to be Dracula. So Skune gets to the castle, and when that happens, Kokowa says, do you know who's in there? And Skune's like, yeah, Dark Lord. I'm gonna go kick his ass, and I'm gonna get Mocha back. And Kokowa says, no, that's my daddy. Yep, we get to see Mocha's father in this one, and you're like, oh no, Skune, you're gonna get killed. Like, we even feel for that. So he enters Mocha's father's mansion. He's sitting on the king on his throne. He's sitting there kind of like a mix of like Dracula, the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, and Denethor.
I think the eyes of the White Tar are blind. I have seen more than you know.
He's so cold-hearted. He's so evil. You can feel his presence. And Skune's just like, hey, I know you're her dad and all, and I really care about your daughter. Can you bring her back? I don't want any trouble. And the guy's just like, I fucking hate humans. Fuck you. I'm gonna break your whole fucking body. And he knocks the shit out of Skune. Skune gets his ass kicked. How do you stay alive after being smashed through a wall like a fucking pinball machine? How do you handle that? Oh, right, because in the last season, Mocha gave him some of her blood. So he's sort of half vampire, half human. He can hold his own against the dad. And it leads to some Dragon Ball Z, like, beam struggles and this fight. You're like, this is crazy. What is happening? But what's kind of weird about this final chapter, the final episode of this show, everything's built up to this. They don't really do much with it. I don't know what it is about series involving vampires that end so anticlimactic. It's kind of weird, because it ends where he gets the rosary back, and then Inner Mocha says, Daddy, stop it. And the dad's like, okay, I'll take off like Batman. And then everything's resolved. Outer Mocha's back, everybody's having a blast, everybody's back to normal, things are up and running, Mocha does the hickey thing, and it literally ends with this sort of, the thing you'd see in most kids' movies nowadays, these animated kids' movies where they have a fucking dance at the end. And it doesn't know when to end. And you're like, what is happening? What's going on? What are you doing? Stop. Hello? Are we not going to explain a goddamn thing? And it just ends. The show just ends. And you're left with so many questions, so many answers, so much shit. Like, what happened? This is literally Breaking Dawn Part 2 all over again. And that's it. Well, that's Rosario Vampire in a nutshell. The ending, the final chapter. Not knowing who Scooney's gonna pick, his future wife, where the dad is. Like, just everything just comes to a halt. Everything just stops and just wraps up. No explanation. No big final climax. Not like the first season. The first season at least had a point. And a sense of dread, a sense of risk, a sense of danger. This one's just, there you go. Man, you know, and I'm kind of thinking about it, I'm a little disappointed. Because this was supposed to be taking it to the next level. You were supposed to upgrade your animation. Even the animation in this episode, the ending is kind of rushed. Like, it feels like they just ran out of time and just said, throw whatever we got, guys. We don't have much time. We're probably going to lose the license because we pretty much butchered this creator's original vision. Yeah, I hate to say it, guys. I love this whole series, but kind of a downer, kind of a disappointment on this finale. And I can see the potential. And I'm not saying it sucks by any means. Like, this is far better than all the last one I did last week, those 2 episodes. But this one just felt really rushed. So I would say these 3-part episodes are a lot better than the filler one we just started off with, but it had a great start and kind of came crashing down because they didn't know how the hell to end this stuff. And it's kind of a disappointment, but again, it was cool to see Mocha's father, it was cool to see Inner Mocha have more of a chance to shine, and it was just overall kind of, I guess, a way to wrap everything up. And even then it says, oh, even Coco was like, I'll get you next time, Inner Mocha. I'll do it. It's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But I'll discuss that later down the line. So, the season finale, this 3-parter, I'd give it a good 7. Same as the filler episode. It's on par. And that's a shame. This should have been a great finale, a great climax to the story. But quite frankly, they did nothing with it. And I think they were just rushing out of time. They had a great start to this 2nd season. Great money, great budget, great stuff happening. But they didn't know how to end it. And I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but it is a little bit disappointing. So, yes, this whole 4-part arc, this whole 4-part of episodes, about a 7. It's a little underwhelming. It's not the first season's finale. The first season's finale was a lot more in-depth, a lot more deep, a lot more dramatic. This one was just, we're out of time. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. So, that's it for Rosario Vampire Vlogs. But, is it really the end? Well, much like Mummy Month kind of ending this week, we actually have one more week left to go. And because of that, I'm actually going to do a little extra vlog to kind of wrap up the show and also discuss what I think the future of this franchise could possibly be and what it could be and if it should continue. So, obviously guys, let me know your thoughts on the final 4 episodes in the comment section below. Do you think it was rushed? Do you think it was a good ending? Let me know. And don't forget to support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you access to all of our content as well as other special features. And yeah, tune in next week. We got one more week left in October, and we're going to basically kind of have a bit of a discussion about where the franchise could go from here and why it's taken so long to get to a Season 3, if there ever will be. But on top of that, guys, join me this weekend outside of the final chapter of Mummy Month. This weekend, I'm going to be at FanExpo at the Metro Toronto Convention Center from October 22nd to the 24th, 2021. If you guys want to go check it out, we're going to be there. A bunch of our crew members are going to be there, and we're just going to be in cosplay, having a good time. My cosplays are not Rosario+Vampire. They're Dragon Ball, they're Hulk. There's a bunch of people showing up. Dante Bosco's supposed to be there. It's going to be a great time, and it's my first con in 2 years, so I'd love to see you guys there. So, until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying a farewell for now to Yokai Academy, but not entirely. We'll talk about what I think the franchise should go next week. So until then, take care.